behalf of my wife, Her Excellency Mrs. Martha Udom Emmanuel, the government and good people of Akwa Ibom State, I address you today. Exactly 100 days ago, I stood before you, the good people of Akwa Ibom State, the custodians of my divine mandate, and proclaimed my readiness to work for you. On that day, I solemnly took my oath of office as governor of this land of prosperity and great promise. No doubt, 100 days is a short time, but I recall my pledge of accountability to you. It begins from this little period of my stewardship to you. For he who is faithful in little things will be faithful in great things. This is my report of the journey so far. Fellow citizens, our story shows that leadership and good governance are defined more in deeds than in days. I promise you that in true service, I could be addressed as a leader, but I would dress like a servant, because power resides with you. Since then, I've spent each day in office working totally and absolutely committed to the upliftment of our dear state. This I have done with humility, loyalty, and a high sense of duty. The target is to make our state stand proudly, firmly, and indelibly in the consciousness of not just Nigeria, but the world as the land of greatness. Dear brothers and sisters, it is therefore pertinent that I give account of my stewardship so far. I came into office with a 5-point agenda of wealth creation, economic development, political inclusion, poverty alleviation, infrastructure consolidation and expansion, and job creation. They are all encapsulated under the broad theme of industrialization. We spared no effort in putting blocks and bricks together to build truly magnificent edifice that we will fervently desire Akwa Ibom State to be. We have performed groundbreaking ceremonies of new industries while resuscitating the moribund ones. Powered by our foreign direct investment policy, we have laid foundation for automobile industry, a lead factory, ShopRite Mall, a broadcast complex, and of recent, a fertilizer company. Meanwhile, Peacock Paint industry has come alive, just like life is being breathed on other ailing industries. Construction of over 80 kilometers of roads and 6 bridges across the state. Dualization of 19.7 kilometers of U18 and road. Construction of 39.4 kilometers of 18 and Donoyo road with 2 number bridges and spur. Construction of 7.3 kilometer Ebekwe-Ikorebidan road. Construction of 3.5 kilometer Ikorodom road with 15 meters span bridge in Ibionim of local government area. Construction of 5 kilometer Ikorederi-Ikorekuk road with 30 meters span bridge in Bareni local government area. Construction of 15 kilometer Nkpok-Okat road in Ona local government area. Resumption of work at the dualization of Eket Ibron road. Resumption of work at the taxi way at our international airport. Urban renewal projects within Eket Township. Emergency intervention, flood control, completion of outfalls and urban roads in Oron. Improved electricity distribution and power supply. Inauguration of a technical committee on foreign direct investment. Constitution of a technical committee on Ibom Deep Sea Port project. Inauguration of a technical committee on agri and food sufficiency. Groundbreaking ceremony of over 20 investors that have indicated interest in coming to set up shops in Akwa Ibom State. Continued infrastructure expansion. Training of 1,000 youths on local certification and other skill acquisition programs. Construction of 1.2 kilometer underground drainage. Youths have been empowered in various ways to prepare them for jobs of tomorrow today. This administration has put smile on the faces of workers serving and retired. We have cleared annual arrears of gratuities of local government employees in the past 10 years. This administration has put smiles on the faces of workers serving and retired. Apart from ensuring the prompt payment of salaries, we have cleared a decade of gratuities for local government employees and other units of Nigeria Union of Pensioners. All these were achieved in the face of dwindling revenue accruing to the state due to the global fall in oil prices. There is serious commitment in the development of the agricultural sector. We are restoring dignity to tilling of our fertile soil through mechanized farming and making our problem the food basket of the nation. Indeed, we have done a million things in 100 days across sectors. With a divine mandate, we have given meaning to the divine word, let there be light. That is how the state has witnessed remarkable improvement in electricity supply. We have increased voltage, we are building substations. 18 months from now, we hope to have constant power supply. In the health sector, our emphasis is on primary healthcare delivery. We only introduced a monthly environmental sanitation program. My brothers and sisters, I could go on and on. Our problem step under my watch is on a steady course. We have a dream to create wealth and make our people live a healthy, prosperous, and happy life. 100 days shall pass, but that dream will live on. It shall endure and become our legacy for posterity. This administration will not rest until we redirect economic tourism to our state. Dear compatriots, as we sail along to destination of greatness, continue to support our lofty programs. Remember, leadership comes from God. Once again, I call us to eschew rancor and bitterness, and stop fanning the embers of ethnicity and divisiveness. Let us rekindle the light of brotherliness that was lit and handed to us by our forebears. Let us continue with the tradition of unity which we inherited from our founding fathers. It is not in error that this day falls in the month our beloved state was created. It is not for nothing that we came into a divine mandate. Our home state under my watch shall flourish like a palm tree because God is with us. And He will be with us to the end. I am eternally grateful for your faith in me, and I promise never to fail you. I thank you for the mandate and continuous support. We have an unfinished task of taking our problem to the pinnacle of greatness. We can only do it together. We have just begun. It is a proud start. Let all our people, irrespective of social, political, religious, or ethnic inclination, join hands in this magnificent project. This is the only state we have. The good Lord who makes us distinguished will make us mighty. Do not stand and stare. Dear brothers and sisters, this is just the beginning. The beauty of the sunset is a proof that our ending will be more beautiful. God is involved. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Akwa State. God bless Nigeria.
In this package, Thanksgiving service to mark Governor John Emmanuel's 100 days in office held in Uyo. Peacock Paint Industries Ikoreka and reopens for business, plus 217 teachers vie for positions in 2015 Inaugural Foundation Awards for teaching excellence. Details A very good morning to you and thanks for joining us on the news at dawn. My name is Augusta Essien. The state government has held a Thanksgiving service to mark the first 100 days in office of the state governor, Mr. Udom Emmanuel. The service tagged praise session to celebrate 100 days took place at the banquet hall, Uyo. Government House Bureau Chief Colonel Edem Efreti reports that the event was attended by people from all walks of life, had as its theme, "If it had not been the Lord who was on our side." His reports.
So it was at the Thanksgiving as Governor Udom Emmanuel, joined by members of the State Executive Council, friends and relatives, danced in appreciation of God's favor and the governor's successful 100 days in office. Governor Udom Emmanuel said the journey so far has been a good one, made possible by God, whom he testifies has answered all his prayers for the state. Mr. Udom Emmanuel said, despite the dwindling revenue of the state, God in his faithfulness kept a providence which caused him to record the successes of his first 100 days in office. The governor, who reeled out his scorecard of activities since assumption of office, thanked the people for their support so far, adding that he appreciates the stress undertaken by many to ensure that he succeeds. He commended the Catholic Diocese of Uyo for its willingness to partner the state to ensure that facilities at St. Luke's Hospital are improved by government to offer world-class services as a general hospital for Uyo. While also thanking pastors in the state for their prayers, Governor Udom Emmanuel hinted of his plans to build a place of worship of God in the state next year. He called for continuous prayers for the state, even as he made an offering of an undisclosed sum, but which he said is seed sown in the life of widows and orphans in all local government areas of the state.
I really want to thank God for what God has actually done in this state in the past 100 days. And the theme of this praise, our praise, is actually, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, probably today we would have had this text called a virus. I can count so many ifs. But today I appreciate that theme. That's why we're standing here to say we thank God. If it had not been that God who was on our side, it would have been possible.
In his sermon, Prophet John Linus said it was good to thank God for his faithfulness, as those who do so are often raised the more by God. Prophet Linus, who leads the Word of Faith Covenant Assembly, said the celebration of the 100 days by the governor marks a new era for the state, assuring that as long as God was made part of the trip, victory was sure, and that the state shall move from celebrating 100 days to celebrating a full term.
If you are thankful, your time cannot be empty. There is no way to come to a place where you show God appreciation and the enemy will depreciate you now. It is impossible. Anyone that puts him first, give him his right position, God will always at all times arise on his behalf.
The service featured prayers for the state led by Pastor Emmanuel Bassi and choir renditions by the Promised Land Chorale led by Gospel Isaac, Hilltop Mansion Choir led by Ubong Atai and the brass band, while Reverend Etel Odungide led the body in praise and worship. A book on the governor, authored by Mrs. I.D. Thomas, was also presented and copies distributed free. Colonel Edem Efreti reporting.
Peacock Paint Industries, Ikorikan Itinan, has been re-inaugurated. Governor Udom Emmanuel performed the inauguration as part of activities to mark his 100 days in office. Colonel Edem Ekwete again reports that the governor also inaugurated new vehicles donated by the state government to the company.
On behalf of the good people of Akwa Ibom State, we recommission this factory and we charge this factory. May you never close again in Jesus' name. We charge this land. Whatsoever made this factory not to flourish before now, but because we recommission it today, this factory shall flourish. We shall provide employment for our youth, provide employment for our women, provide wealth for our state, and provide good things for our people. So today I recommission this factory in the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Inaugurating the industry, which had ceased to function since 2007, Governor Udom Emmanuel said he was delighted to bring the company back on stream. Mr. Udom Emmanuel, who said that the event brings to reality his commitment to change the status of the state, said the company is now 100% owned by the state. He disclosed that government has committed 506 million naira to revive the company, 102 million naira of which was to clear its indebtedness to the bank. He spoke of plans to expand the company and to bring in German experts as partners. The governor charged the management of the company to work hard to ensure that it stays afloat, even as he warned those who set it on fire previously never to attempt such again.
Peacock Paints, as we all know, was one of the best paints in Nigeria. No doubt about that. The products mix of this company included standard emulsion, gloss, superior emulsion, textured wall paints, car locks, car paints, and wood finishes. The wide acceptability of these products occasions the establishment of distribution points across this country. As we recommission this factory today, I'm reassuring Akwa Ibom people that all these products shall appear again in the market.
The Commissioner for Investment, Commerce and Industry, Barrister Emmanuel Enoidem, said government was committed to ensuring that the Peacock brand of paint returns to the market. Barrister Enoidem, whose ministry oversaw the renovation of the company, thanked the governor for fulfilling his promise. With about 3 million liters of diverse paint products to be put out each day by the company, the state economy, he said, was bound to improve.
In the last 3 months of the administration, you have done 4 groundbreaking of different and diverse industries. Today, you are on this ground. You have to do a very significant, event, which is the recommissioning of the Peacock brand. We are indeed very delighted that we are part of the team that brought about this uncommon decision to bring life into the Peacock pen.
Goodwill messages were presented by the Managing Director of Jetcon Oil and Gas Limited, Ikoyi, Lagos, Chief Mike George Onyong, who instantly ordered 5 million naira worth of marine paint for his ships. The People's Democratic Party State Chairman Obong Paul Ekpo, who prayed God to bless the governor, and Mr. Billy Echuk, who pledged on behalf of the people to ensure the safety of the property, as well as the caretaker chairman of Etinan local government, Isantum Kenneth Okun, who adored the governor for reviving the Peacock paint industry.
So I want to say that I'm placing an order by Monday of 5 million naira worth of money.
I see your shadow, resuscitating industries. You walk in here, Peacock Paint is alive. I know that other industries you walk into, and I believe very soon the Akwa Ibom State will be smoking with industry.
His Excellency, we know you be in our focus. You have a clear policy direction. That's why you are starting on a very smooth and clean note. It's not going to be in Etinan alone. It's an engine in the whole 31 local government of Akwa Ibom State.
This is not a done breakthrough. We will not wait for more months to see it working. This work is already at work.
But people are paying the money already for, orders. And I saw several cars, brand new cars. So that's supposed to be the company name. So it's not something that when this door is open, tomorrow is shut. It's open forever in Jesus' name.
The governor later inspected products, samples, and inaugurated new vehicles procured for the company. Colonel Adam Efreti reporting.
An education foundation in Akwa Ibom State, the Inoyo Toro Foundation, which seeks to enhance the worldview and productivity of teachers, has emphasized the need for teachers to continually develop and update themselves in their subject areas so as not to impact their students with absolute ideas. The story is presented in our studios.
Dr. Enobong Joshua stated this in Uyo when he led a team of academic consultants to administer examinations on 217 teachers to select winners for the 2015 Inoyo Foundation's Annual Teachers Awards. Expressing disappointment over the performance of some teachers in such core subject areas as English and mathematics in the test, Dr. Joshua noted that the dwindling standards of education could be revamped by raising quality teachers through regular training and assessment. Dr. Joshua, who is the Director, General Studies Directorate of the University of Uyo, stressed that the thorough screening measures were adopted to ensure that only the very best were selected for the awards.
That's why we're worried in some of these subjects we're talking about. These subjects I'm talking about are the fundamental subjects required for admission in any university or any higher institution. And if the teachers are not good enough, it becomes a problem for the students they are teaching. That's the thing. I'm not sure they're paying much attention to their work. That's the bottom line. Not that they've not graduated. They graduated as English teachers, math teachers, chemistry, all of that, but maybe some other things occupy them. So, in order to make ends meet, according to them, which doesn't really happen anytime. They leave what they should do and face other things.
Dr. Imabong Udosoro of the Department of Chemistry, who examined chemistry teachers, and Mr. Enobong Umobong of the Department of Economics, all of the University of Uyo, who examined the economics teachers, said it was important that teachers be regularly assessed to ensure that what they teach students were up to the required standard. They commended the Inoyo Toro Foundation for taking up the challenge of rewarding those through whose efforts and sacrifice great world changers were groomed and mentored.
We just want to see if actually they are deliberate, because there in the school they are supposed to be the mentors, they are supposed to bring up students that can stand anywhere and talk.
It is an examination. It has every exam cannot be very cheap for everybody and cannot be too tough for everybody. So there is no way 100% of the students come and say, that was a cheap one. No. Some will say it was cheap, others will say it was tough. That's what it was, and that's what it will be.
Some of the teachers who participated in the test bared their minds on the exercise.
Actually, the bank has enabled those of us in the field, that the teachers to equally experience the experiences students in the classroom used to experience during their examination period.
And this is the intention is to make sure that you see that you know as a teacher the basic principles of the subject areas you are teaching.
Remember that we are actually teachers, and most of the time we are scared of being examined because we are used to examining others. So to have this, I really thumbs up to the foundation.
It is a bid to encourage empower the teachers in their quest to teach a particular subject.
It should be mandatory that teachers in the country should be assessed to know the quality of teachers we have.
The program coordinator of the Inoyo Toro Foundation, Ms. Yvonne Nkang, said the Teachers Award was instituted 8 years ago to reward hard work and excellence. She explained that for winners to emerge, the foundation invited all teachers from public secondary schools in Akwa Ibom whose students and schools perform excellently in the West African Senior School Certificate Examination to openly compete through an examination based on the secondary school curriculum in their subject areas. The program coordinator noted that for the 2015 award, a first prize winner must score at least 70% in the written and oral examinations. The second prize winner at least 60%, while a third prize winner must score at least 50%.
From different schools, we had to go around and visit, pick the best based on their students' work results.
Okay,
so for those who had 75% C5 and above, we picked those teachers. And then there were the teachers going for Grand Mentors Teachers Awards. They had some mentees, those ones automatically qualified for the test.
The 2015 Yoturu Foundation Teachers Award for Excellence, the 8th in the series, is scheduled to hold in November.
You're watching AKBC News this Sunday morning. If you're just joining us, we told you that if the Lord had not been on our side was the theme of the Thanksgiving service, which was tagged Press Session to celebrate 100 days, held at the banquet hall of the Government House to mark 100 days in office of Governor Udom Emmanuel. Also, the Peacock Paint Industries Ikorika Tinan has been re-inaugurated to mark the 100 days in office of the present administration. We have more news for you after this break. Welcome back. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Dr. Matthew Ekaite, has advised youths in agricultural business to see the need to process their farm produce. This, according to the Commissioner, will not only add value to the product, but will also increase their income and attract more patronage. Dr. Ekaite gave the advice when a Akwa Ibom chapter of Youth in Agriculture Foundation in Niger Delta paid him a courtesy visit in his office. The Commissioner said the state government was interested in farmers who add value to their products and urged them to re-strategize in their agricultural production to be able to meet government's expectation in food production. In the area of human capital development, the Commissioner advised the group to ensure that their resource persons are experts that can effectively handle issues in the sector. Dr. Ekaite expressed the readiness of the ministry to partner groups under cooperative societies that are ready to embrace the value chain of government to improve their food production.
Of food production. We know that it is economics. This is farm economics. You have inputs to produce an output. Inputs from land to crop. We need to improve the system because the population is increasing every day.
Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Engineer Richard Ekman, commended the foundation for seeing the need to transfer the knowledge gained as beneficiaries of government programs to others. He advised the group to partner the different directorates in the ministry to gain more for greater agricultural productivity. The state coordinator of the Youth in Agriculture Foundation in Niger Delta, Mr. Nyepia Huwene, said the foundation's vision is to identify, sensitize, mobilize, train and empower the next generation of youths in agriculture, technically and financially. He appreciated the state government for sending 100 youths to Israel to acquire various agricultural skills. Mr. Wene appealed to the government for loans to aid the group to create wealth and employment for youths.
We
have an edge over other youth organizations in Akwa Ibom State based on the fact that we are not just an organization here for empowerment, but a foundation whose mission is to identify, sensitize, mobilize, train, and empower the next generation of youth in agriculture.
A new executive committee has been inaugurated for the Akwa Ibom chapter for the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners with Raymond Ide as chairman. The new executive will remain in office for 2 years. Other members of the executive are Fabio Forapabio, Secretary General, Ididion Edogo, Assistant Secretary, Nsika Udoibe, Treasurer, and Esther Jacob, Financial Secretary. The Public Relations Officer is Inyobo Okban, Peter Unyanga, Auditor, Nse Nwawo, Ex-Official 1, while Victor Morin will serve as Ex-Official 2. The story is presented in our studios. Administering the oath of office and allegiance, Barrister Jane Obong commended the outgoing executive for exhausting their 7-point agenda within their 2 years in office and expressed the hope that the new executive will live up to the expectations of the members. She also enjoined them to liaise with the state government to help improve the environment as well as ensuring that they uphold the ethics of the profession.
I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability. Faithful and in accordance with the Constitution and the Code of Ethics of the Institute and the law.
In his acceptance speech, the new chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, Mr. Raymond Ide, pledged the loyalty of the Institute to the ideals of the present administration, noting that the Institute has abundant, qualified, registered and experienced town planners to assist in the physical planning and development of the state. He also called on the state government to assist in domesticating the Urban and Regional Planning Law of 1992 as amended in 1999, as well as create and establish Urban and Regional Planning Board and local planning authorities in the state. He appealed to the authorities of the federal and state universities and other tertiary institutions in the state to establish functional physical planning units headed by qualified and experienced town planners. They outlined the agenda of the new executive to include completion of the Secretariat building of the Institute and purchase of 18-seater bus, while urging members to pay their dues and outstanding levies as at when due.
We in the Institute wish to pledge our loyalty and total commitment to the ideals and to his administration. We want to assure him that we have abundant qualified, registered and experienced town planners to assist in the physical planning and development of our estates.
Earlier, the outgoing chairman of the Institute, Nse Nwawo, in his handing over note, thanked members who have contributed to the safe landing and success of its executive. The inauguration featured presentation of certificates of return to the new executive members. The Eastern Naval Command now has a new warship designed to combat crime within the country's waterways. In a multinational approach to fight terrorism in Africa, the African Union defense chiefs have met in Mali to discuss more approaches to fight the menace in the region. These and more in our national and foreign news segment with Mercy Akera.
A new warship that has been designed to combat crime on waterways has been delivered to the Eastern Naval Command in Cross River State. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Iboite Ibas, said the warship will help in the fight against oil theft, sea piracy, and other crimes in the nation's waterways, as well as reinforce the presence of the eastern flank of the nation's maritime space. African Union defense chiefs and ministers of defense have met in Bamako, Mali, to discuss the threat of terrorism in Africa as posed by Boko Haram and Al-Shabaab terror groups. Participants at the summit called for enhanced operational cooperation among the affected countries in order to make their response to terrorist threats more effective. The meeting proposed to classify the threat to Africa into 4 major categories, which include terrorism, organized crime, illegal migration, and human trafficking. King Salman of Saudi Arabia is in the United States, his first visit since assuming the throne in January. Top on the king's agenda is the Iran nuclear deal. After holding talks with President Barack Obama, Saudi Arabia has expressed satisfaction with assurances it has received from the United States over the Iran nuclear deal. President Obama had explained that the Iran nuclear deal prevents Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon and that there are sanctions in place should Iran violate the terms of the deal. United States Democratic presidential candidate Mrs. Hillary Clinton has expressed regret over using her private email account while serving as U.S. Secretary of State, which has raised a lot of criticism against her. The critics say her private email was not secure, contrary to government policy. Under U.S. federal law, official correspondence is considered to be U.S. government property.
The Deputy Governor, Mr. Moses Hussein, has acknowledged the contributions of the pioneer chairman of the Conference of Heads of Local Government Service in the state, Mr. Patrick Akpan, who died at 61, to the development of the civil service. He was speaking at the funeral mass in honor of Mr. Patrick Akpan, conducted by St. Dominic's Catholic Church, Ikoruyo, Nsaratai local government area. The report is here presented.
Who led top government functionaries to the funeral, including the immediate past Deputy Governor, Lady Valerie Bay, said the history of the state civil service would not be complete without the mention being made of his contributions to effective administration of the unified local government service, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Deputy Governor's Office, Mrs. Sylvia Ekpo. Mr. Moses Ekpo recalled the role the deceased played as a member of the committee which drafted the Akwa Ibom State Local Government Staff Regulations, as well as the role he played in the resolution of the crisis within the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees in 2010.
The subject of death is one recurring phenomenon that has challenged humanity and ravaged the society to its very foundations and confounded even the wisdom of generations. Try as it would, the world has yet to unravel and come to terms with how best to tame this grim reaper.
In his homily, the Reverend Father Michael Basil spoke on the theme, the shortness of life, said every mortal must have an appointment with death, irrespective of one's wealth nor position. He stressed that, however, that the manner in which one dies may be different. The Catholic priest, however, said that the manner one dies does not matter, but where one will spend eternity is what is important.
The legacy we leave after us matters a lot. When we die, what do people remember us for? If people remember you as that great witch in your village, congratulations. If people remember you as that Confucianist, congratulations. But if you are remembered for sacrifice, for love, for unity, for peace, and for everything good, you accept the best of congratulations.
The biography of the late Patrick Akpan, aged 61, indicated that he was born on January 24, 1954, to the family of late Mr. Demore Akpan of Ikoru Johnson in Nsaratai local government area. Pat, as he was fondly called, began his educational career at Oban Country Council School, Ikorekpene, in 1959, and obtained his first school leaving certificate in 1964. He was admitted into St. Vincent Secondary School, Chioro, where he obtained his West African School certificate in 1970, and proceeded to the University of Calabar in 1979, where he obtained his Bachelor of Arts degree in History in 1982. Upon graduation, he joined the Unified Local Government Service and progressed through the ranks, retiring in January 2014 as head of Local Government Service. Patrick Ekpan was a devout Catholic and active member of St. Patrick Catholic Church of Agenam. He was a member of the Catholic Men Organization, CMO, and chairman of various committees. The son of the deceased, Mr. Ekpan, conveyed the family's appreciation to all those who have shared with them in the moment of grief and led the family in a thanksgiving.
The family of late Mr. Patrick Ekpan sincerely express our gratitude and deep appreciation to those who through calls, prayers, visits and gifts shared and soothed the pain of the monumental loss of our father, husband and brother, late Mr. Patrick Ekpan.
His colleagues, Mr. Kingsley Ekpan, had this to say about his departed boss.
And from him, a particular character that will bring humor, that will make people happy, instead of sadness. He was such a man.
The remains of late Patrick Ekpan were later committed to Mother Earth in his compound.
We'd like to remind you that you can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45U or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. Now to end the news, another look at the top stories. A Thanksgiving service to mark Governor Don Emmanuel's 100 days in office has been held in Uyo. It was attended by people from all walks of life. We also told you that 217 teachers have vied for positions in the 2015 Inoyo Toro Foundation Award for Teaching Excellence. That's a package. Remember to join us at 8 for yet another time to you.
And illuminating programs. The latest in politics, in-depth analysis of events, sports, and much more. Keep watching AKBC Channel 45.